Muito. Nice, zoom af.
Has a negative impact on automotive quality.
Ik was verpast.
As we have previously
Hij
noted,
kijkt van het is om
emergency
12 jaar.
awareness is inherently lucky.
Ik ga zitten verpast.
Deployments are tied to customer timelines and
Ik
largely
heb het dan zo
allocated.
goed gehoord, praktisch, ja.
In Q2, we deployed 13.5 gigawatt-hour of energy storage, a 53% sequential increase, and the second largest quarter for energy.
Awesome.
Despite this growth, energy gross margin declined from 39.5% to 40.4%. This margin decline was a result of several dynamics. First, we wanted to true up in the quarter for about $240 million related to some vendor issues for our legacy deployment. Also, the tariff benefits we recognized in Q1 of more than $200 million did not repeat. And lastly, we have previously guided that ASP for industrial storage is coming down amongst growing competition. Long term, we believe the energy business should normalize at a gross margin rate in the mid to low 20s range. Our order backlog of this business is robust, and we are doing our best to serve based on both existing demand and future demand we expect from data center growth and electrification and so forth. Sales and other margins improved sequentially from 9.2% to 14.1%, an all-time high. This was mainly driven by an uptick in volume and better cost management of our rental fleet that supports businesses such as heat gas, superchargers, service centers, and repair. While margin today also included in this business are deliberate investments we are making in infrastructure that will help scale Robotaxi in the future. We continue to grow the Tesla Robotaxi fleet and have expanded to a total of 7 markets in the US. We expect the ramp of the fleet to accelerate throughout the year, along with expansion into new US markets. As previously guided, operating expenses increased sequentially. The increase came primarily from significant research and development related activities, including pre-production ramp costs for new products like SemiTouch, Optimus, Navitac, and other AI as well as preparation for an additional compute that we brought online. Additionally, we had charges related to litigation expenses in the quarter. Note that we are in a big investment cycle and expect our operating expenses, largely driven by R&D, to continue to grow in 2026 and beyond. Net income was positively impacted by a mark-to-market gain of $1 billion on our SpaceX holdings. This was offset by losses on FX of approximately $200 million and on Bitcoin of about $100 million. As previously guided, our free cash flow ended up being negative for the quarter. Most of the reason for the change is because CapEx more than doubled sequentially. We expect it to increase further in the second half of 2026. We continue to expect that CapEx for this year will be more than $25 billion. CapEx will grow for the next 2 or 3 years as we expand our Robotaxi fleet, expand our production capacity for Optimus, make investments for semiconductor fabs, install solar manufacturing capacity, and AI computer systems, in addition to all the other expenses we do for other manufacturing for Optimus. In addition to using our cash for such investments, we are being opportunistic in securing certain debt facilities that will give us the capacity to borrow up to $20 billion to help make this investment. We believe this is the right strategy to position the company for the long term. We will always make such investments in a very capital efficient way. The path to emerging a government is very challenging because making will be more business. The future is going to be great, and we are ready to rise to the occasion. We must end by thanking the business team, customers, investors, and suppliers for their confidence in us on this journey.
Thanks so much, Vaibhav. As everyone on the call may have noticed, we've covered several Say.com questions already in opening remarks, including Optimus production, Terafab, and Digital Optimus. Ashok is joining us today, our VP of AI, and to cover questions related to Robotaxi.
results. Many of the questions from Terra.com relate to robot active deployment and scaling. So we thought we'd provide a comprehensive view of where we are now and where we are going in the future. First of all, I'd like to state that the Robot Taxi program has been operating extremely well. Especially in terms of safety, the program has had an impeccable safety record. We have driven more than 380,000 miles of unsupervised robot taxi, now across 6 cities in 2 different states. We have had 0 notable incidents. Many reports have been of other actors impacting us when we were safe. Again, I'd like to emphasize how safe the operation has been so far. 0 notable incidents or 380,000 miles. Because in the first of I've always trained that you need LiDAR, radar, map, the entire system thing to drive safely. Here we show that such is not true. You can have safe, comfortable, and affordable autonomy with just cameras. This record should be a huge validation of Tesla's entire AI. Second, I'd like to discuss scaling. We started the Robotaxi program roughly a year ago in Austin. We had safety monitors in the passenger seats of the cars back then. Around the end of last year, we had the first fully unsupervised Robotaxis in Austin. Since the beginning of this year, we have grown at double-digit growth rate to the number of unsupervised miles that the fleet drives every week. I repeat, we have grown at such a high compounding rate on a week-over-week basis over the last several months. Not only that, we expect to continue growing at such a large rate through the rest of this year. The other thing to note is that for expanding to new cities, there has been relatively less effort on our part. We expect that the time to launch to a new city will continue to trend towards 0, towards an end where we operate an entire state as a whole instead of going by city by city. Such growth was only possible because we have a world-class engineering team at the frontier AI development here at Tesla. The currently operating Robotaxi fleet is already running early versions of the V15 FSD software that we have referred to in the past. For V15, we have planned roughly about 7 major improvement tracks, and they're all happening in parallel. The early V15 builds that are running on Robotaxi have already 40% of those tracks merged together, and that's what's running in the fleet right now. As we continue to complete our work on V15, we will see that the car is going to be ridiculously safe and capable. We are already seeing internal signs that all of these bets that we have made for technology improvements are all starting to work, and we expect that the payoff will be huge, and that's what is going to help us sustain the same growth rate through the rest of this year and so on. Finally, regarding the Cybercab, first of all, it's a phenomenal product. Anyone who rides in it instantly falls in love with the experience. We have aligned our manufacturing targets to roughly match the projected growth rate of the unsupervised miles. Same V15 models that power Model Y and other platforms will also work on Cybercab. In conclusion, Robotaxi growth so far has been literally exponential while keeping an impeccable safety record. Our technology bets are paying off, helping us sustain exponential growth for the foreseeable future. And the Cybercab is going to be awesome.
That's great. Thanks so much, Joe. And there was one remaining question on data collection for Optimus training. We want to cover that as well.
Regarding Optimus, especially Gen 3, Optimus has been designed not just match the appearance of human beings, but also the functionality and dexterity of humans. One of the main reasons for this approach is that having a human form factor and function allows us to learn from humans on how to perform a wide variety of tasks. This opens up the entire world of our data for training. Just like FSD, we have access to a broad suite of humans giving us data and all of the work that is performed. Optimus can learn quite a bit from observing them and perform their tasks. We also have dedicated data collection This is all on top of anything we can do off of the entire internet of data that shows demonstrations of people doing various tasks, both in industrial settings and home settings. The second slide is when we have a large number of Optimus robots practicing their tasks in Optimus Academy. There are some robots experiencing the task when they are invaluable because any minor form factor gaps that may exist between the bot and the human. This is also when the reinforcement learning loop kicks in. Quickly attempt some tasks, fail sometimes, learn from both successes and failures of those tasks, and eventually learn to master those tasks, perhaps superhuman tasks. Whereas as these Optimus is aligned with him, it's same mental energy that drives FSD, keeps us in control of, and just like FSD, we expect it to work on FSD, you can get in the car, type in an address and then hit start and just like handle all of driving from part to part. The same thing is going to be true for Optimus, and you're going to do and then perform the other task and then you go to do anything around the clock. And it's the same thing that creates FSD and 12, 13, 14, and now with team software that now works on Optimus as well. And I'm very confident that Optimus is an extremely capable tool.
Great, thank you so much, Ashok. So that's for that question. Now we will move over to the first question comes from Tom from RBC. Tom, please feel free to unmute yourself. Tom, you're still on mute, so please unmute yourself and go ahead. All right, we're not getting any audio from Tom at the moment, so we will try to move on to Andrew, and we'll have back to you. Andrew. Yes, you can.
Awesome. Thanks so much for taking the question. Maybe just to start out on Optimus, Elon, you mentioned that there's really no supply chain today for Optimus. You've had to mostly in-source a lot of that yourself. I'm just curious, as you've gone through this exercise, are you seeing any suppliers willing to invest alongside you to set up domestic manufacturing to potentially help you scale more quickly in the U.S., asking that in the context of you want to totally some extent and ramp as quickly as possible, but from an investment standpoint, potentially more capital efficient to have the partners help you along the way. So I'm just curious how you're thinking about that and some of the dialogue you've had with potential suppliers. Elon, you may be on right now. You can.
So yeah, I'll try to been great, and that made that how many are making the investment into the sport of Samsung and TSMC in particular are really fast at TSMC in Arizona and Samsung in Texas, and putting in $10 billion for Q4 AI and Q4 Optimus and other factories. Samsung also invested many billions in producing factories like Optimus. I'm a little under the weather today, but it's still kind of a little fun. I'm trying to look at it today. So, yeah, so our partners have been great, and I'd like to thank them for their support, their investment in their efforts.
Great, thanks for that. And maybe just to the
Sorry, we're going to have Karn hop in here for a couple of factors, but
just as some of the expenses out there can be that's a massive investment of $1 million for same level of investment in memory, and also new that multiply that are more fit for the robot that's and it's certain cases where we don't find a great partner, we've never had a good relationship. We have a very capable manufacturing
I'd also like to thank my friend for giving us the memory allocation. That's very tough decisions on memory allocation. We really appreciate Michael and making it being successful in the years to come and giving us that right memory allocation on reasonable terms given the traditional types of things.
Great, we really appreciate that color. And then here's my follow-up on robotaxis. You guys gave a lot of great, information in your prepared remarks, but, there seems to be some evolving regulations at the state level, especially around sensor requirements. So I'm just curious, as you think about your own rollout, what do you want to see, or what do you need to see from regulators to make sure that, obviously some regulation might be good, but you don't want it to be over-regulated. So what are you expecting to see? What do you want to see to make sure that this is, done in the proper way?
And we've got Lars on the line. Lars, if you wouldn't mind covering this one. Thanks.
Yeah, sure, Travis. I think, we talk about regulations, particularly in the U.S., we've made a lot of headway. Just good initiatives from the federal government in terms of FMVSS rules, moving towards, acceptance and adoption of purely built AVs, and I really appreciate the support from Vista on that. When it comes to like a state-to-state level, obviously the stuff in New Jersey, is a little bit disheartening. I think ultimately, as Joe said in his opening remarks, we really focus on the performance of the vehicle, and ultimately that's what's going to drive regulators and the public to adopt it. I think the best regulations are those that provide companies and innovators with a goal or a task and allow us to figure out the solution. And when we see regulations that provide a solution before identifying a problem, we're really appreciate those. But as Tesla always has and will continue to do, let us want to speak for itself. And I think it shows that out really clearly, and that'll be the foundation of our expansion moving forward.
Great, thanks for the question.
Thanks so much. We're going to try Tom again from RBC. Tom, can you unmute and try to speak, please? Unfortunately, Tom, we see you unmuted, but we're not hearing you, so we're going to have to bring it back to you. Next is Alex from Bank of America. Alex, if you can, please unmute.
Thanks for the question here. Just a few follow-ups on robotaxi, actually. I guess what milestone should investors be watching from here that would cause you to accelerate or speak down the market? Is this a further